August 31st, 2010, on the spot, Norman Graham. We're here with Basil Smikle. He's a candidate from the District 30 senatorial race here in Harlem, New York. Welcome to On the Spot.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm blessed. Thank you.
How's this race going, the senatorial race, 30th District?
The race is going very, very well. Subway stops from 7 to 9 in the morning every day. We're creating a tremendous amount of buzz on the street. People, I think, are responding to who I am, to my message for the campaign for the district. And they are responding to what they feel is a need for real change in leadership in Upper Manhattan.
Okay, well, let's start it off by telling who is Basil Smikle?
You know, I'm a son of Jamaican immigrants, the only child of Jamaican immigrants. My mother is a school teacher. She teaches special ed and has for the last 26 years.
Public school?
Public school, and a proud UFT member. My father's a retired textile worker. They came to the United States from Jamaica, came to New York from Jamaica, settled in the Bronx, so I was raised there, and raised to a large degree by my grandmother. My mother worked during the day and went to school at night to get a bachelor's and 2 master's degrees so she could continue to teach, and while she was here in the United States. And my father worked a lot, and my grandmother did a lot to raise me. I actually shared a bed with her until I was about 12, 13 years old. Same room, different bed until I graduated from college. But her wisdom was imparted to me all my life. At nights, she read the Bible to me every night. They believed in accountability and achievement. They believed that we should all be accountable for our actions. We needed to all be accountable for the work that we did. And we had no excuses in terms of our ability to achieve. And I guess for some 26-year-olds that moved to the United States and dropped everything to come here from another country and start over again. My father mopped floors at McDonald's for the first weeks and months while he was here. So that level of, I think, those guts that need to be successful and achieve was given to me and passed on to me by them. And I learned those lessons very early on. Most of the people that I grew up with are either dead or were in and out of prison. And by the time I was 12, I had been shot, actually at 12 years old, by a 14-year-old who wanted me to sell drugs for him.
Really?
Yes.
Shot? Where you got shot at?
Shot in my arm. In front of the school, actually. It was an after-school program that met on Saturdays as well, and we were there. And I remember he showed me the gun and was like, because you keep refusing me, I don't like the fact that you keep refusing me. And maybe, I don't know if it was a smart thing to do or the wise thing to do, but I kind of just ignored him and walked away, and I guess he didn't like that.
Oh,
so he took
okay.
a shot at me. And what's interesting about that incident is that it really made clear in my mind that I had to make sure that all of the decisions that I made, that all of the things that I did, took me past that incident and didn't let me fall into the same trap that he fell into at 14.
Exactly.
And so that's where education became so incredibly important to me. My mother's role in that, my father's role, my grandmother's role in that, and actually the role of all of my neighbors really helped propel me to the places that I've gone and the people that I've met in my life.
Okay, well, we're going to get back to that incident, and we're going to take that incident and talk about youth services and crime.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to first go into your professional background.
Right. So I tell you, I was able to go to some really good schools. I went to Cornell undergrad and got a bachelor's in labor relations. I took a year off, did a little work at 1199, went to Columbia to get my master's degree in public policy. While I was there, I worked full-time at the Empowerment Zone in Upper Manhattan. So that was right after the bill got signed. This is Charlie Rangel's bill for the Empowerment Zone. Right after that got signed, I wound up working for Dinkins at Columbia when he started teaching here after his mayoralty.
Okay.
And then he recommended me to go to this Empowerment Zone program.
See?
So I was a project manager there.
Okay, so hopefully you got the Harlem machine back in here.
Well, in one way, shape, or form, I do. We'll talk about that.
Okay, we're gonna get to that. But let's start off that professional background also.
Yeah.
You do commentary periodically.
I
for
do.
Fox.
Yeah. Well, I've done New York One a lot. I do Channel 5, Fox 5. I've been on Fox News. I've been on BET. I've been on a lot of radio shows.
Political strategist.
Political strategist. What is interesting is that I went to work for Hillary Clinton on her first campaign for the Senate in '99, and then stayed on her staff until about 2003. By the time I ended, I was a deputy state director. So that gave me a great opportunity to meet people all over the state and really learn from some of the best political minds in the country. And I used that opportunity to go and start my own company and be able to consult for others, talk about issues, do issue-based campaigns, do the commentary. And what's also great, something that I actually have a real passion for, I also teach at Columbia in the same degree that I got my master's, so the same program I got my master's degree in public policy. And I teach in the CUNY system also.
You also did some work for Mayor Bloomberg?
I did. I worked on his campaign last year for the re-elect.
Okay, so you got that political background, so you know if nobody knows what you're stepping into, you definitely know
I absolutely
where
do.
you're going when you entered in on this senatorial race here in Harlem.
Right.
So now with that, let's start it off with one of your pet projects is the charter schools.
Yes.
Can you give us a reason why?
Sure. As I mentioned before, education was an extraordinary part of my life. It helped me realize that I had options. I didn't have to sell drugs for this individual that shot me. I didn't have to spend a lot of time on the street. I had options. You know, when you read books and you learn about the world outside of your neighborhood, when you can get a very complex math problem and actually solve it, I mean, you're actually accomplishing something. And that sense of accomplishment, that sense of achievement, and that sense of wonder with respect to what's out there in the world. You know, education provided all of that for me. It opened my eyes to a life that, or any life that I wanted for myself. And for me, public education has to be the backbone of that, of the education system. It has to be the backbone for any path that a child needs to take in the city of New York, in the state, and in the country. Because if you can't afford the choice to send your child to a private school or to a Catholic school, the public education system must be there for any and every child that wants an education. And that system has to work. And what we've seen over the years, particularly in parts of Upper Manhattan, certainly here in Harlem, that a lot of the schools have not been working. It hasn't been like that for 1 year or 5 years. It's been like that for maybe 10 years or even beyond in some cases. It's not just true in Harlem, this is true all over the city. But what's happened is that, in a lot of parts of the city, but what's happened is that in this particular neighborhood, a lot of individuals have come together and said, let's create these charter schools. Let's provide an alternative to the traditional public schools so that parents can have a choice. And you know, if you go to a lottery, because you get into a charter through a lottery, if you go to a lottery, there aren't 100 parents there. There are thousands of parents there. That means that there are people in this neighborhood that want the best for their child. They recognize that charters are a great alternative to traditional public schools, and it is free. Then why not give my child the opportunity to go to this type of school?
So first, please tell me, what do you feel is the problem with the public school system,
Well, I think there are two things. Remember that the public school system is publicly funded. So in times of prosperity, when there's a lot of cash or surplus in the city's coffers, the public schools can be better funded. When they take money out, you know, you're talking about cutting programs, cutting art classes, cutting some science classes, not being able to build science labs, cutting music programs, a lot of things, and in some cases, and they talked about this early on, laying off teachers. So realize that the quality of public education significantly depends, that there's a high correlation between the type and the variety of the education that you get and the amount of money that the city has to be able to spend on public education. what's also true is that for a very long time, for whatever reason, this area